How to talk about duration in English. By duration, I mean how long. And I'm going to try to explain this to you without using any grammar. What you need is the phrase have been doing, but the doing is replaced with whatever action you want to talk about, whatever action you have been doing. And before we look at some examples, I just want to show you that the I have in have been doing is usually contracted. Usually the two words are put together. So I have becomes I've, he has becomes he's, she has becomes she's, we have becomes we've, and so on. So here are some examples of have been doing. I've been living in London for 10 years. He's been skateboarding since he was a kid. We've been driving for hours. Are we nearly there? But there is something else. Sometimes you can't use have been doing because the verb you want to use is not an action verb, but a stative verb. Sorry, it got a bit grammatical there. Basically, most verbs are action verbs, like the previous examples. But some verbs don't talk about actions, but they talk about states of being. And the main ones are to be, to have, and to know. With these ones, you can't use have been doing or have been anything ing. Here are some examples of when you can't use have been doing. They have been knowing each other since university. They have known each other since university. We've been being in the club all night. We've been in the club all night. I've been having this phone since the 1980s. I've had this phone since the 1980s. Something to point out is that have been doing can be used to talk about one event very recently, one event which just finished, or it can be used to talk about an event which has been on and off throughout your life, or on and off throughout a long period of time and maybe isn't finished. For example, she's been reading that book for half an hour. That's a continuous action and it's very recent, but have been doing can also be used to talk about I've been reading this book for a few days, I'm almost at the end. So this one is not a continuous action, it's been on and off for a few days. So how do you know which one the speaker means? The one which is continuous and is just finished or is maybe still happening? Or the one which has been going on and off for some time, some days, some weeks, some months, some years? Well, just from context, really. Like the example earlier, he's been skateboarding since he was a kid. You know, just from the context, that it doesn't mean he started skateboarding when he was a kid and he hasn't stopped for, I don't know how old this guy is, for 50 years. No, that's not, no. You know that it means he has been skateboarding on and off, once a day, once a week. Oh, why am I even explaining this? So the last thing we need to talk about with duration is since and for. You might notice I've used both of these in the previous examples. Can you see what the difference is? Did you find it? You use since plus the start date, the start time, the start point, and for plus the duration, the amount of time, for how long. But there is another option. You can say since plus duration plus ago. I've been living in London since 2012. I've been living in London for 10 years. I've been living in London since 10 years ago. So there you go, how to talk about duration in English. To practice this, in the comments, tell me how long you have been doing something. How long have you been learning English? How long have you been working in your company? Or you can use some of the state ones, maybe both, to see the difference. How long have you been a doctor? How long have you known your wife, husband, partner? How long have you been happy? So like and follow for words for more business English tips, or maybe you don't need to. Maybe you have been following us for a while already. Okay, bye.
For words.